Okay.
Who was running this course? Speedy what?
Ryan.
Speedy.
Ryan Reynolds or whatever his name is. Guy's a Gumby, and it was brutal. And you know, thank God we went to the Speed Fanatics because it was just a whole different vibe. And the guy was super chill. Did you hear anything when you guys were at the Speed Fanatics? They didn't bitch once.
I passed people in the corner. No one's
mission?
Yeah.
Yeah, the second one. It was awesome.
I wasn't there. We weren't there.
Yeah, you weren't there, but they,
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And we drove, yeah, he broke his wheel, and I drove the snot out of the Sentra, and they didn't say a word to me. You know.
I broke the axle shaft right off at the thickest part.
I blew the turbo right off it, blew the blow-off valve off it, and just destroyed it. Went home, the wheel all bent, blah, 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 blah. His truck had to be towed home. We drove the wheels off him at Mission because they let us. 25 minutes, open lapping. Okay, that's road racing. That means, well, no, they still tell you only pass on the straightaways, but they're just way more chill. They didn't talk to us at all. I like the guy. I'd go to all his events anywhere he likes. And hopefully eventually we get a car that's capable of, you know, entering a CSC event, or you guys can maybe go to an SCCA event even if you get good at it. Because that's where really, if you think you're good, that's where you can really find out if you're good. Not local, you have to go to the United States, unfortunately. So yeah, that would be the ultimate goal, but that's, you know, we'll see how it goes. See how the new ride, the 510, we'll see how that works out, and hopefully you know, yours is a step up in the Miata, and the Skyline's 2 steps up, so we should see what I can't wait to see the Subaru tranny take it. I gotta see this.
You're gonna be like the other guy that broke his transmission today.
Yeah, so I
broke
pushed
his
that.
transmission.
No, but that's not the same car.
No.
No.
It's a nice track, though. It's a cool track.
It's a very nice track.
Oh yeah.
I love how technical it is.
Huh?
I love how technical it is.
The elevation change is phenomenal.
Yeah, so
It's
like what
really
happens when you
freaks
guys
you
are in
out.
the cars? Like when you're like, because it's so windy, like what happens like you got in trouble for drifting, so like why, like, is that oversteering or like understeer? Yeah, I know. I watched you. I watched you go squirrely in the corner.
Just fine.
So like
He doesn't have the right wheels.
That's oversteer. With racing, there's a fastest way through the corner, and everyone, it's a debate.
is that when Orien went over the red?
What?
No, but there's a lot of different ways to go through.
No,
the
I
corner.
powered through that.
And it's very
Turn and I
technical
went off the
when you
track.
enter the corner where you're going to decide to turn in. Okay? And vehicles all handle differently. So when you're racing and you go ripping down a straightaway, at the end of the straightaway there's a 90-degree turn. You have to decide how you're going to enter that turn.
Right.
And so you have to also know your vehicle. So if you enter that turn as fast as you can without crashing, that's your job as a racer. So enter it as hard as you can, at as much speed as possible. And when you turn the wheels, if your car goes and plows and goes into the wall, that would be understeer. Now, if you come in at the same speed and you turn your wheels and your back end comes out and you 360, that would be oversteer. In between those two things, there's this magical point that you can kill it through the turn in a little bit of a drift coming out, power on if you have a posi, because you can then spool.
Right? This is why you got the
I was 8
posse.
seconds faster going.
See, unfortunately, I told him this a long time ago, and I created a monster, obviously, because look what happened here. When I said that's a magical, there's a way through that you, if you get really comfortable with your car and you get to know the track, that you can basically do a little bit of a drift, power on through the turn. The sooner you get your power on, the faster you come out. That's the gig. Enter as hard as you can and come out as fast as you can. And if you enter wrong, you come out freaking slow.
So
and you suck.
But you're not allowed to drift at those tracks at all.
At this event, no. But at any real road race event, you go through the corner any way you want.
Right.
When you win, the guy who comes in first, when they drop the checker flag, he wins.
But do they have like real races like that at that track?
Yes, they do. I'm sure they have real SCCA or CASC sanctioned road races.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have to have a proper cage. It isn't a bunch of guys who drove their cars there usually.
Right, yeah. Whereas today was like pretty much like anyone.
Yeah, the guy beside me driving the 911, like, you know.
Like, yeah, you got a car.
He's going 10 or 15 seconds slower than the car could.
Mm-hmm.
That guy.
Yeah.
I'm coming on him in the Sentra. I'm looking at his brake rotors; they're bigger than my wheels.
Definitely some really nice cars.
You know, I had rotor envy continually looking at his car. Horrible, horrible rotor envy and caliper envy.
I'm gonna get this 510 on the road so we don't hear all this trash in the bash.
My frickin' Sentra, it looks like the brakes are this big after I leave that track.
And your Sentra has the big brakes from the factory.
Biggest they ever put on that car.
11-inch rotor.
You know what? They work fine for this track. They didn't fade out. I could smell them at the end of the session, but this is Ryan's session. It's 5 laps or whatever it is. Last time, the other guy's 25 minutes.
You can do like 18 laps.
That track, my car would be just cooked. It was cooking already today, the engine, but the brakes would be cooked after a 25-minute session here. To do 25-minute sessions, you have to have a good car. Really, good car. Oil cooler on it, extra oil capacity, hopefully, and big brakes because they're going to get stinking hot. So, oil cooler for the engine because it's going to get stinking hot. I got an oil cooler about this big for the Mazda motor, so it should be. The Sentra is only about this big, half as big, so I got one twice as big for the 510. And I hope it stays cool because I just want to be able to beat on it. I don't like this I gotta wait thing. I don't. It's a street car. It's expecting a lot. You know, it's expecting a lot to go out and beat on a street car the way we beat on it. You know, the way he beat on his truck,
Yeah.
which used to be my truck. Okay? The way he beat on my
You wanted to
truck.
get tourists
I
over
can
there.
feel it in my heart today the way he beat on my truck.
Every time he breaks it.
Yeah, broke the starter right off it. Trying to start it hot with the idle at 9,000. And you don't start race cars after you bring them off the track. You let them sit, but not Nicky. He's got to start it. I saw smoke come out from underneath the hood. Woof. And I'm like, oh my God, he's trying to start it hot. I thought it was on fire when I saw the smoke. I think you were at the car and I said, you see the smoke come out of the hood? Were you?
I heard, yeah. I
Yeah, you heard
so.
that. I'm not making this shit up. Okay?
I also had headphones on,
Tell
so I might
him,
have
tell
just
him
heard
about
it.
his wheel.
That was no.
Chalk.
I was actually trying to shut him
Tell
off.
him the wheel, his
Oh,
wheel
oh,
chalk.
oh, yeah. So what
Tell him
happened?
about the wheel chalk.
Who was the monkey? Was it Orien that
No,
rode over?
it's
Or was
this
it
I
guy.
drove
Yeah.
over because I didn't see it.
Well, no, but it's, you know, it's Dumb and Dumber. Well, this guy, okay, I had this, like, it's dear to me, okay? It came from my old boss, Heinz Eckhart, through Mike, okay? And this guy was like a super guy. He raced a Toyota Corolla at Westwood. He was like a mentor of mine and Mike's. And it came from him. So it's a real special piece. And when I started road racing, they didn't trust air hoses across the pit wall because guys had got caught, tripped, and been run over by race cars. So they outlawed air hoses over the pit wall. And they made these fancy wrenches that if you were a tough guy, you could grab that sucker and in one hit, you can spin a lug nut off of a car like that. Not if you're a little baby, but if you're tough, you can just go wham and you do that. 4 guys will come out and do your tires on a quick change with that tool. So that tool's worth I don't know what to me personally, and it's very special. And well, today, Nick decided that he would use that as a wheel chuck because he doesn't have a park brake in that POS of fucking S10 that I sold him with a Ford diff. I put a Ford 8-inch differential in it, and it's a Chevy. So of course the frickin' park brake cable doesn't hook up. And so he figured that, you know, I think it's about 55-year-old wheel wrench would be a good thing to block his wheels with. And it was. And so he drove away. And then Buddy decided that, well, that might be something on the ground, but I'm going to drive it away. Because I drive a fucking SUV.
Oh, jeez.
Mall cruiser. Oh, die, polar bears. Die, polar bears. Die.
Just remember I was 1 second faster than you, it's all good.
Die, polar bears.
When he went over, he's like, what the
Yeah, what the hell did I drive over?
So
He's talking to himself.
now my wheel wrench goes when you spin it like a salmon. Wicked.
I'll drive over it again to make it better. Bend it back.
Yeah, I don't know why it's
Just put it in
bent.
press
Because
there.
obviously I know why. Because it's a certain amount above the
Was the
ground.
Cadillac went over top of it?
No, but because the handle holds the one side up. Because it's
the
relatively
balls on
flat.
both sides.
So I'm thinking, why is it bent? But obviously the handle holds it up, so he bent that way.
Custom built.